So when you go to configuration settings, one of the options is for your Google Drive folders. These are a series of 4 records that point to the URLs within Google Drive. So the first is the root folder that you create inside of your Google Drive for the project management framework for Notion. So I have that here. So you would just copy that URL and you would embed the link and put it in place like that. The next one, it needs to know where are you going to be putting the files for all of your clients. Same thing before, you'll go down into the client directory, copy the link, and embed that here.
And why do we want to embed versus upload?
Because we're not uploading the content of a file, we are just telling the PMFN what the Google Drive folder is, because this is where it is going to be putting the content that it needs in order to run the system. And as far as what content, what does it need, you get to determine that by what you put in the template for your clients and the template for the projects. So if we look at the client template, for every new client, there's just sample documents in there now. I'm a native doc, doc in the client template text, and then you can have a subfolder as well. The common use here is all of the documents that you need for each client, you would put in the client template. And any of the documents that you will also be sharing with your client, you'll put in this subfolder so that you can, each time you spin up a new client, you will get a complete copy of whatever you put in here, and you can share this folder with that individual client. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So
Awesome.
we need to finish up now. We are looking in the client template. I'm going to grab that one, embed, put that in, and then the same thing applies for the project template. And that's all it takes for the Google Drive integration to work. With this in place, every time you create a new client, a copy of the client template will be created under a named folder for that client, and then you have new copies of whatever Google Drive docs you want. And earlier in this video, we already went into the benefits and how you use it.
Worth noting that the Drive folder that you're sharing with clients has permissions outside of Notion.
Notion does not control any permissions on your Google Drive at all. All we're doing is telling Notion this is the URL that we are working with for the root of PMFN clients and the 2 templates. Since you will own your own Google Drive, and we grant it permission with the scripts, the make.com scenarios that drive the PMFN, all permissions are your login credentials to make the copies of the documents. For the particular folder that says shared with client or shared with project, although that's what is labeled here by default, if you actually do want to share this with the client inside of Google Drive, then you will have to say share and give whatever credentials you need. Notion does not control or modify any of the permissions in any of your Google Drive. Excellent question. So one other note about documents in general. Earlier, we talked about documents being the repository to link to external resources. You can also use the documents for creating new documents entirely within Notion. So I'm going to go to projects and say, pick one of mine for Go High Level. Here are the project documents. There's only one so far. And I can create a new document, and I don't have to link to an external source. I can just write my own documentation right in here and give it, whatever. So for example, and then I can give the instructions in here. You have the ability with documents to either link to external resources by using files and media, or by putting whatever content you want and just doing your documentation natively within Notion.